What's up, y'all? It's the Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill show, and I am Kimmi Kim, aka Spill, with my boy Sip.
What's going on? What's going on with yourself? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real, real good.
How you guys doing out there, guys? Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill. People, followers, listeners, what's going on, guys?
Once again, we back in the building, and we want to come to y'all with some good information. But listen, I got a disclaimer. Your girl want to definitely talk about something. But before I do, I want to be able to say this to everyone that is watching us, and that is, listen. I'm not saying you got to agree with what I'm saying. I'm not even saying that you got to even like, oh, that's the truth. It could not be the truth. But if it fit and it worked for you, I say use it. If not, let it go and discard. Okay. What I want to talk about today is letting go what was and walking directly into what is. A lot of us are stagnated in things and we're not moving. And then we ask our friends, we have all these type of questions, and we drinking and sipping and smoking on something, doing something else, trying to figure out why our life is not moving. But life will move for you if you stay stagnant and everything and anything you want to do. So sit. Maybe you can help me navigate this. With this, when you hear that statement that says letting go what was to walking into what is, what do that mean to you? Like, how would you break that down?
I know there's a statement that you just say, what's to come is better than what's been. There's a song, it's a gospel song.
Yeah.
And it said, what's to come is better than what's been, or the best is yet to come. So I look at it, as like what I guess a lot of people look at their past successes. That's how they look at it, and they kind of live in those past successes. They can say stagnant and live in the past. Like, oh, I was a great basketball player in high school. But you ain't did nothing since then you can't. But there's some wonderful things you can do now. You're coaching and things of that nature. So I think that's more or less like you're stuck in something you can't change, you can't can't do now, can't emulate now, and it's kind of hindering you from doing some great things you're doing based on where you are now, what's ahead, or what's in front of you.
I agree. I think many of us never realize our true greatness because we get sidetracked by secondary activities. And I think that if we kind of put ourselves in a position to see things that truly is happening within our lives, not someone else, not what you're seeing and watching on social media, or you're like, oh, I love they do that black love, or I love when they, oh, that baby's so cute. You know, when you see all those things, and they great and they wonderful. But take inventory. As you know, your girls say have an inventory check. Take that inventory about you and why you're not moving. Because what are you truly holding on to? You know, why are you still the same? Why are you not progressing? You know, you're not doing it. So one of the things that I want to talk about with that is happening in relationships, it's happening in friendships, it's happening in employments, it's happening all these different patterns and behaviors that everybody is happening, past decision experiences. You know, this is the way I was raised. This is the way I was brought up. Or things that you were exposed to in your environment in which you live. I mean, you don't have to be sorry about the way you grew up, you know, but not living up to your true potential because of that is stopping your growth. You understand what I'm saying? It's just really stopping your growth. So, you know, you notice how you keep walking the same direction, but when you take your shoes off, you kind of tiptoe because you can really feel what's on the bottom of your feet. But when you got shoes on, you just walk, you know, and then if you're playing ball, you're like, oh, I got my favorite shoes on. But when you take those shoes off and your feet is naked to that ground, it hits different what's below you, right? So you are in control of your footsteps. You're in control of putting on them shoes, whichever one you want to put on, from stilettos to gym shoes. You control that path. So I feel like a lot of us are getting stuck because we're not walking in the path that we were designed to do. You know, change is designed, you know, it makes you angry. It happens to us because it's necessary for the growth to happen. I like we just talking about today as our families, talking about how people don't like change, how people just don't like change because that puts them in a position, oh, I've been around for 20, 30, 50 years, and this how it was. But that's not what it is. You have to meet people where they get. You have to show up and show them sometimes for what you might need that you never thought that you did. Are you following Sip when I say that? Because I know you've had things in your life, things we just came out about, Sip just shared with y'all, and he was talking about where he been and where he at now, and just giving you a direction of that. But in order for him to move past in his life, in order for me and everybody else, we have to let go what was and walk right into what is. Because some of y'all are checking for the wrong doggone things. You are. You're checking for the wrong damn things. Things that are happening right now is what you need to be paying attention to. You did a post not too long ago, Sid, when you said, keep your circle small. Some people don't even know who the hell in their damn circle. They got the same people they said they've been rocking with since they were childhood, but that be the one that's standing, sleeping with your girl, doing all kind of things behind your back, stuff you don't know. You always think it's going to be a stranger you might be, but no, most of the time it's the people right up under your nose when everything just happens. So all I'm saying is you need to pay attention to everything and anything that's surrounding you, what's going on with you, and then that really is what controls your path. That control your path. So right now on the path of you coming out, telling people what's going on with you, what's up with you. We got some people, we got some naysayers like, oh, this, that, and the third. But sipping out, we here for it. We speak truth. We are authentically, unapologetically us. And I just want to address that. Like a lot of times you never know what a person is going through when you meet them. You judge them simply by their appearance or what you heard of them or something someone said of them, but you really don't know the story. In order for that to really change within yourself, you need to sweep around your own front door so you start sweeping around somebody else's door. And that's how you truly is letting go of things that what was and walking into the right things right now is what is. Now, sometimes we get caught up on things on what's going on right now, then you can't see the future. And we all in. Sometimes we need to kind of cut that off at the legs too. But I really want to convey, like I said, as I said earlier, it's up to you. If it's fitting, it works for you, then use it. If it don't, let it go and discard it. But I want you to know that in order for you to go where you might think about going in your head, you might talk about when you're passing and sipping and drinking and doing all that, you actually can go there. You actually can be that ball player, that accountant, that doctor. You can be all those things. But you have to believe it in yourself. Everybody can tell you all day, every day. But if you don't believe it, then, how is it to be so, right?
Right.
I mean, so I don't know any feedback you might have on this, but I think I want to just speak to a lot of the young people and the people that's even in our age bracket. I just constantly and consistently find that people are stagnating their own, like really self-sabotaging themselves. And why is that? And then why you holding on to something that really was gone a long time ago? It's a thing. It really is a thing.
I think it's a comfortability level. Some people are just comfortable. They know like you talked about doing things because you like doing things and we say routine. Some people are used to routine, and routine can mean if they break the routine, it means something is wrong. Or they get kind of confused, they can get lost. So if they're doing something or something is happening that's making them break their routine, it's like they've lost something is wrong, something is not going right. And it could be that. But being uncomfortable is something that, it's necessary to be in order to change, to make a better, I guess, a better path for yourself. I think it's I don't know. It's just I find myself doing that in some ways. I find myself doing that. It's like the older you get, but what happens is this. For a long time in your life, when you're growing up, early teens, teenage years, your 20s, going to high school, college, and your first, maybe in grad school, whatever, going to the first set of real life experiences like having a house, a car, and stuff like that. And you find a career, things of that nature, and you're doing these things one moment, you're doing something else the next moment. But what happens is you find yourself in a pattern of successes. So what happens is you say, okay, I went and tried this multi-level marketing thing, I went and tried this career, did this thing right here, I did this thing, and now you're in an even groove, and you've been seeing a steady level of success. And they're like, okay, your money is staying consistent, you have to save money, now you got a pattern, and it's working. Because before that, you were trying to do things, some things wasn't working, some things were working half-assed, some things was working okay. You lost relationships, you lost lives, you lost money, revenue. And then once you get into a pattern that's working, it's like, well, I ain't gonna fix something that ain't broke. It ain't broken. So I want to fix it. So I can see why older people kind of like get into stuff and like, this has been working. And it took me a while to get to the point, and they plateau. This has been working, so to change it now is like I don't want to get back to where things was dragging. So I can see how that could be the case. People can just find themselves, especially middle age, like especially my age, you know, we kind of like we have a pattern. There's certain things that are broken, and it kind of threw me off. It's like, damn, I got to try to recalibrate. I see how I can regain what I had or what I lost or what I seemingly lost, and it's just got me off my square. So, but sometimes, like you said, you have to be. The trick is always this: being soluble enough or wise enough to be able to see, to discern there are changes ahead of you. A lot of times we're living in changes and we don't know it's a change. I say this all the time. A lot of this old guy said this. Old called him. He said, "Chance and opportunity happen to everybody." You hear me? Chance and opportunity happens for everybody. And I think what happens is going into the changes and things of that nature. Change and opportunity happens for everybody. The problem is, do we have the discernment or the wisdom to recognize that that's a chance and opportunity? Because a lot of times when we think it's a chance and opportunity, it has to come in the package that we expect.
Right.
It has to come in the delivery that we want. And there's a change, or there's an opportunity, or there's a chance there, and we don't know it until it passes us by. Like, oh, that was an opportunity to invest in Starbucks. I didn't know Starbucks was that because it didn't come in the way you wanted. You thought it was going to be invested in some sort of in Corvettes or something, or Maseratis, and it was a Starbucks thing. You're like, I don't drink coffee, why invest in that? And so you don't know that. So that goes along with what you were saying as far as what was, let go of what was to go into what is, or I would say what is to come. Because what is the channel or road of the path to go to your future. Because you have to, they run it in sequence. You know, your past and your present and your future kind of run in sequence. They run consecutively. So you have to have a decent past to have wisdom, know where you're living in right now, acknowledging that where you're living in right now, and is it conducive to your future? So how do you recognize it? So those are the points that I always want to know. How do you recognize that you are not letting go? And how do you have that discernment that what I'm holding on to is destroying me? And we don't think, because it ain't hitting you and kicking your ass right now, we don't see it as the future. We don't see it as, no, it's kicking my ass for tomorrow. Like a lot of guys, they punching bricks every day. They 24 years, they punching bricks, and they're breaking their hands. And then over the course of time, you're injuring your hands, giving yourself all type of rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like that. Right then, you feel like you're being strong. It didn't affect you. But your future is affected when your hands are all jumbled up and you don't know, well, what did I do with stuff you did in the past? It's the stuff that you're doing at that moment in your future or your present that's affecting your future. So that being said, I want to learn how to go on what you're saying. How do you learn how do you recognize that you're not letting go of the past so you can accept what is in the future? How do you recognize that?
Well, I would say this: the past is your lesson, the present is your gift, and the future is your motivation. In order to truly know that you're not progressing, as I say, is do inventory. Y'all hear me say that all the time. You need to do inventory check. A lot of times you go on and say, you wrote a goal down and you say, I got goals, I got goals, I got plans. But have you checked what today's date compared to where you was last year, this time? Where were you? Hell, have you checked where you was just 3 days ago? When I tell you inventory check is powerful, is what's being poured into you and what you're pouring out, it makes a difference because we just be on autopilot. Literally, just keep doing stuff. And then you love to sit up and complain and you tell yourself, or you just get depressed, all of a sudden you break out in a real nasty mood. And people around you that love you and care about you don't understand what's going on with you. Because when things is going on with you and other people don't know and they're around you and they're close to you, it affects them as well. And so they don't know. But you just mad about something that you want to see change, but you ain't putting in the work for it to change. You ain't believing in it. So somebody can tell you, like, you're a great speaker, you can speak, you're a great person, you could do this, and they believe it. But you don't. You just be like, yeah, I'm all right, I'm cool, yeah, I'm gonna do it when I do it. But you don't really believe in that. In order for you to know that things are not happening, it's really doing an inventory and take a look at yourself. I really do. I think people don't look at themselves. I do it all the time. I promise you, it can be within the 24 hours. I can say, man, I said this, or I thought I heard that, or I talked to someone, and that whole thing hits me differently. And I'm like, I don't want to do that again. You're not without mistakes. You're not without challenges, because life is challenging. Doing this thing called life is going to consistently and constantly happen. Something was said to me that I want to point out about that. That I was talking to someone and they said, listen, I don't want to do conflict. I don't want to do conflict at all. I just don't. And it's contextualized as how they don't want to do conflict. They don't want to do conflict. But in my mind, I'm like, man, conflict is everywhere. That was like an eye opener for me. No matter what, it's a conflict. It's a conflict when you're trying to put your baby to sleep and you got to be at work in the morning and they are crying all night. And you like, I done fed you, I done bathed you, I done held you, I done did everything right. And you still won't stop crying. Well, that's how life is. No matter what, you can grind, you can do this, but you got to invest more into you. You really do. You got to invest more into you because things are going to happen, but you are to control it. As I said earlier, your footsteps and your path are how you walk right into your destination. And if you want to know what has stagnated you, keep checking yourself. Keep inventory checking yourself. Keep holding yourself accountable. Have some accountability people around you. Put out there what you may or may not want to do, what you're thinking of doing, and then hopefully you have somebody enough that will hold you accountable for that is exactly what you should be doing at a later time. But we all know within ourselves when we just not doing what we were supposed to be doing. You can get mad at other people. You can show up like that. But really, it's just you. Another thing I want to say that really held out to me and said was that two things defines us. Our patience when we have nothing and our attitude when we have everything. You know, I'll be like, man, I came up and started from the bottom, now we here. Everybody love that song. Be like, I came up, I'm up, right? But when you up, you got a different attitude and you look down at the people that's still below you. Are you really up? Because it's a saying that I think Sip and I say all the time. I know I say it to my family, and that is we are stronger together than we are apart. A lot of times we're pushing each other away. But when you start to really be on a path of going towards your destination, you'll find that you do lose speed. People don't have the same vision that you have. And that's okay. Because when you can stand alone and be alone and don't look at being alone as a problem or issue about certain things, your vision, your dreams, your desires, that's your superpower. Because it's not for everybody, it's for you. And that's the number one reason why I said, if this works for you, you find the part of it. If it fits and it works for you, then use it. If not, discard it and let it be. That's my take on it, y'all, for absolutely letting go of what was and walking directly to what is. Spend more time with yourself about where you at and where you want to go. Meet yourself where you at right now. Even if it sounds, as we would say on the Sip and Spill show, fugazi, which means it's crazy. It don't sound right. But even if it is, go ahead and walk right into that path. Because if you truly want to know where you're supposed to be with all your God-given talents, you can't keep waking up doing the same thing you do all the time. Because apparently you ain't going nowhere. You're just waking up.
I want to add to and give a couple of tips. One thing when it comes to when you're doing inventory checks, I want to give some specifics as to how to do it. I use this thing called the 3Ds: dedication, determination, and discipline. And I said this all the time, but I showed the previous year I would talk about motivation and discipline. There's two different things. Motivation is when you're excited about doing something and you feel up about to do this, this, that, and the other. You want to do something about to do this job, about to do this project, about to work out, about to interview this job, about to start this business. I'm so motivated. I saw somebody doing some wonderful things, and I'm so motivated to do it. Discipline is when you don't have the energy, you feel defeated, you don't feel like doing it, and you're tired, or you're discouraged. But discipline says you're going to do it anyway. So dedication, determination, go discipline. I encourage everybody to use those 3Ds. You can change dedication, determination, and discipline, however you want to use it. But you do that. The first thing you want to do when you understand that dedication, determination, and discipline, you actually write down what you're trying to accomplish. You write it down and give yourself a date, a timeline. Today is this particular day. Let's say it's Sunday, whatever, right? At 12 p.m. I want to have this done 3 weeks from now, Sunday, this time at 12 p.m. It's got to be done. a half of that time, you say, by this time, these things should have been done. You write down your weaknesses. I have an issue with time management. So if you know you have an issue with time management, acknowledge it. It's not basically, you're not reiterating, you're not basically enforcing it or reinforcing the fact that you have time management skills, but you recognize your weakness. So now I have time management skills, so I'm going to do the things that I do to alleviate those time management skills. So you write those weaknesses down, then you write down your strengths. You got your goal, you got your long term, or the last end of the goal, the midterm goal, and then you have your weaknesses and your strengths. Write those things down. Be honest with yourself. Use those 3 Ds: dedication, determination, and discipline. Dedicate yourself to your craft, to what you're trying to do. Be determined. That means it don't matter what nobody say. The determination is when you just, I'm going to do it. It's in there. And discipline is just getting up and doing the work. When it's just, oh man, I don't want to have a day off. I don't feel like it. So remember those 3 things. I want to throw that in there for this bill. So remember, let go of those things that was, just to get to those things, and embrace the things that what is. And those things that what is a precursor to what's to come. So you got to remember that that's a path. You can't ignore that, because some things, like you said, some go wrong with you, and they're not necessarily for the way you're going right now. They're not necessarily for the path you're going right now. Yeah, let it go. Let them go. Those situations that sounded great was great when it was great, but now they ain't great no more. I remember Dave, we spin and dunk and do all that kind of stuff. Well, now I'm not a dunk. I'm a spot up shooter. So, but the sooner you understand that, the sooner you'll alleviate injuries and you won't be able to play at all. So those are the tips that I want to put in: dedication, determination, discipline. Write down your goals and visions, whether it's short term, long term. Write down your strengths and weaknesses. Hone in on your strengths and try to strengthen those weaknesses. Alleviate those as possible. I always tell people to staff your weakness. Okay, or surround people around you who are better in those areas than you are. So you do those things that can help you, and then actually be self-observant. When you're truthful with yourself, you can see that you're tripping. I'm stagnant. Just be honest. Like, this ain't moving. I'm still doing the same old mess. I'm regressing. Like last week, I was doing this, that, and the other, and I fell off already. It's been a week, and I ain't moved forward. I haven't accomplished 3 of the 17 things I'm supposed to have done by tomorrow.
Holding yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable. And it's easier said than done, I know. But if you actually try to practice and consciously say, that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on it, then that's what it is. Just move with it. And we're here to encourage. We're here to help. We're support. We had a meeting today where we talked about with our team and our staff, and we're talking about making sure that we each other's keeper and protector, and we each other's help me. We're there to help and assist. We're your muscle. I'm your set of eyes when you don't have a set of eyes. I'm your set of ears when your ears can't hear. And I'm your set of your hands and feet when you can't walk or touch things. So make sure you hone in on that.
And for last, I want to just motivate you and say, don't go where a path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail. Blaze the trail. And on that note, make sure y'all check us out on the Mitchell&Mitchell on our YouTube, which is at Mitchell&Mitchell. And then we also on our Facebook, Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill, as well as our Sip and Spill group. And Instagram, Sip and Spill 2022. We on Spotify. If you got Alexa at the crib, just go ahead and say, hey, play Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill, and we would definitely come on. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing y'all and talking to y'all more. We got different things coming up, and we'll keep letting y'all know about all that. But with that said,
we like you, we love you, we want more of you. And it's been real and it's been fun. And every time we do our show, every time we get a chance to connect to you, connect with each other, collaborate, and learn from one another, it's always, and don't ever miss what's true for a minute. It's always, for us anyway, real Mickey, Vicky, fun. Holler back at your people. Peace out, guys.